Thank you for listening to WQPH 89.3 FM Shirley Fitchburg, Queen of Perpetual Help, and welcome to another edition of Local Matters. On this week's broadcast, we speak to Francine, and she has a very interesting story about Red Rose and the 9 pro-lifers. Here she is with our own Marianne.
Today we're doing a program with pro-life expert Francine LaRiviere, and she is bringing in some super news about what's happening with the Red Rose and the heroes that we are going to listen about today. Thank you for listening. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Local Matters. And you know what really matters? The pro-life dilemma. So we have Francine LaRiviere, who's an ardent pro-life representative, to tell us what's happening right now. This date is what?
Today is Friday, April 19th.
Yes. So you called me and told me something about what's going to happen with the Red Rose people. We're going to call them that. Can you share that story about what happened and where we're at?
Well, there's 9 of them. There's 9 of them that 8 of them are in jail. They've been in jail for months now. There's one that's on house arrest. These are all people, most of them are in their 70s or close to it.
Oh, real terrors.
Yeah.
70.
And so they were in Washington at a 3rd trimester abortion clinic praying and asking people not to kill their babies, and they were thrown in jail. And so they were charged with trespassing, and they will be sentenced, all of them together, this May, either the 12th or the 14th.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. So there's a priest, Father Andre, who celebrated Mass at the house of one of them in Kingston yesterday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And she's about 75.
That young, huh?
Yeah. And, major back problems and different health ailments. So she's been allowed to stay home. Her name's Paulette Hollow. And, so she's just awaiting sentence. She'll have to go to Washington with the rest of them, and they all receive their sentence together. They're being threatened with 11 years in jail and or a $350,000 fine.
Per person?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Blessed Mother, please help these people. Please help them. I know, and I've met some of them. We've had another one on many months ago.
Paulette's sister, Jean, has been in jail for a while now. Now, she's in her 70s or close to it. A funny thing, I found out recently that both Jean and Paulette, their birthday falls on the feast day of St. John the Baptist. And Paulette has a son that also has a birthday on the feast day of St. John the Baptist.
No coincidence. We got to pray to St. John the Baptist for these people.
Jesus said he was the most powerful saint, and I don't think it's any coincidence that they were born on that day.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So now, what happened to the man that was the Red Rose man? Is he still in? He's
in jail, yep. And he's written some things about being in jail where he makes a comparison to the child in the womb. He's in the cell, and the child in the womb, and not knowing the future, and just he's had a lot of time to meditate on that.
So that's God's grace to him to have that time. And we, the people who really don't do too much to help this cause of unborn babies, right? What you suggest? You've been in this apostolate for a long time, Francine. You're really...
Well, as we all know, prayer is the most powerful thing. And those that are in front of the abortion clinic, they hope to be witnesses. They hope to be prayer warriors. And they invite and try to give information. There's trying to help these women, to let them know that there are alternatives. There are people that are willing to help them. A lot of them that they do talk to, they're there because they can't afford another child. They can't afford gas. They barely could afford gas to get to the clinic. There was a woman who is in front of Planned Parenthood all the time praying, and her and another woman saw a couple sitting in a car down the street from the abortion clinic, and they just had this feeling to go over and approach them, and they did. And it turns out the couple started talking, and they were going into the clinic to abort the baby. And I think it was the woman who first said, I really don't even want to do this. And her spouse looked at her and said, what do you mean you don't want to do? Why didn't you say that? And they didn't even have the discussion really until that point where someone approached them, and all of a sudden she's bringing it up saying, I don't really, and he's saying, I didn't know you felt that way, and they ended up saving their baby. Right now, people are raising money to help them with their costs of bills and different things they need to take care of because he's out of work, and everybody has a story. But look at all the money going toward destroying these babies. There should be a lot more money going towards helping to save these babies' lives and their families that want to stay intact.
Right. Well, in our area, our radio area, we have the Presentation House in Worcester, and they have, I think, 12 women there with their babies. And when I saw those pictures of those little pumpkins, my heart just went out to them. And I'm always looking for someone that would like to adopt somebody. We have someone in our group that would like to adopt a baby. If you know of somebody, please call 617. You're calling my cell number, 459-8735. My name is Mary Ann Harold, 617-459-8735. And we're going to be going live, Francine, and taking calls when our dear friend Jeannie Denizard, that does all our production work, will come here, and we can take live calls. And we want to be very pro-life. We know this is the time to get on the stick. There's no more time. Let's talk about what happened at the Worcester Men's Conference, where we were having a program, the Connie Murphy Marathon. What did you do with those papers that we gave you?
The idea was to go and have these men approach them and ask them if they would like to donate a stipend towards a Mass for life. And we know the Mass is the highest form of prayer. So what better way to help the cause? So I would ask them, but we also had a great inspiration in the community, which is Cornelius Murphy, who had recently passed on January 2nd, I believe. And so I looked at his obituary and the different things that he had done and different clubs that he had belonged to and had been a representative of, like Mass Citizens for Life, the American Legion. He was an advisor on WQPH's radio team. And that's just a few of the bullet points that was part of his obituary, his legacy. And so I had that posted. And so when the men did walk by and I asked them if they would be willing to donate a stipend, first I would say, we would love for you to have a Mass said for life. And number one is for you to have it in your parish, because we need to support our local parishes. But because a lot of the parishes right now we realize, are collaboratives, less priests, maybe one priest for 3 collaboratives. They have maybe less Masses being said, that we could help them with
Mass stipends
with the
Masses for Life.
Masses for Life with the priests of the Benedictine priests of Africa, who will say their Mass within a 24-hour period and send a picture and say that Mass had been said within a certain time frame. And I would also ask them if they would be willing for that same Mass for Connie Murphy's, the repose of his soul, to be added to that mass. And a lot of them that came by that looked at the different things that Connie had done, they would say, well, I'm a member of Mass Citizens for Life, or I'm a member of the American Legion. And, they had felt that connection to him, or they did know him or heard of him. So it was nice. We got at least 22
We
masses.
got 22
and
yes.
all of them said that they would like also Connie Murphy's name to be on there.
So if you go on our website, Francine, right now, and I think it's still posted, we have request a mass at part of the end of the, when you tune in, and it says request a mass. You go on that little icon, and you'll see the Connie Murphy Marathon for Life. And so we've had about 50 masses requested on the Benedictine Institute of Africa. This is the group of priests that are living on these stipends in many of the countries in Africa we send it to from our website. And so we got 50 masses for Connie's soul, right? And 50 masses for Our Lady's pro-life intentions. And if you don't want to put Connie there, I'm sure Kathleen, his bride of many years, they were never able to have children. They wouldn't mind if you put someone else's, like your father or someone that died. So it could be for Our Lady's pro-life intentions and the soul of Blink Blink, right? We all know people who are dying now. They need to have masses, many masses. So you did a phenomenal job. I couldn't have done it any better prepared. Francine just is so charming when you see her. These men were drooling because she's very charming, and there aren't too many drooling.
Well, I don't know about that, but they did say you are a very good sales representative.
Yes. So if you need someone to sell something, call Francine. But her real call is pro-life, isn't it? You've been doing this for a long time, and we have to all do something. So if you're listening, we ask you either to request a mass at your parish or wherever you want. Seraphic Mass Association, you can do that on a computer, or send us a check for $10, or you can go on the website and make it out for Masses for Life. Our spiritual director is Father Maurice, who is an incredible, he's helped us with this Masses for Life program. Unbelievable. We're now going to be hearing some of his talks. He gave a talk on the 14th on the Eucharist and why it's so important. This is a really urgent time, and I think there's nobody that would dispute how urgent the time is. Let's give Our Lady as much power to influence life, right? We hope to go to the presentation dinner in Worcester this year on the 27th of April. Hats off to Rebecca, who is the director there, and those brave women. And they have a special guest, which is going to be a luminary. His name is, what? Do you know? His name is, he's a psychologist on EWTN's program. Dr. Ray Garandi will be there in person. I think he adopted about 10 children. He has 10 children, none of them.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So wait till you meet him and tune him in when you see him and call him and tell him, what can I do? What can I do? I don't want to do what Marianne and Connie is saying and Francine. What can I do? And he might have another idea. So now let's talk about going back to the Red Rose group. I don't know why I wore a red sweater today, Francine. It must have been because of this Red Rose group. And God is asking us to pray for them. You could have a mass said, or say a rosary for these men and women. What are they composed of? There's a priest there?
Yeah, a priest was amongst them. There's 9 of them, and I know that Father Fidelis was in jail. I don't know if he was part of that group, that particular group, but he does. I think he just finished some time for the same reason, being in front of the abortion clinic and approaching women and asking them to save their baby and trying to give them information about what's available. And, that's just, when you see today on the news, people going in jail and getting out right away, this is just, the enemy working overtime.
That's right. So your Prayers for Life, the owner of our radio station is affiliated with Prayers for Life. Really, when you look, I just had 2 great-grandchildren that are, when I went and saw them when they were born, oh my goodness, I forgot what it was like when I was a mother, of how precious these children are, how vulnerable they are, to think that somebody would take them and want to kill the child right up until the time it's born or after. Come on, everybody. Let's get on the stick. Your prayers are so powerful, especially if you're older, I think, because God knows you're getting closer to his finish line, and Our Lady's going to be waiting there for you if you've been outspoken with your prayer.
Yeah, or if you have little children that you get them to pray, they're so innocent and pure, and their souls are so not tainted like our own after we've been here for a while, that their prayers are very powerful as well.
Right. So that's very good advice. So there's 2 things we have. Francine, you had a brainstorm again, which is not unusual for you now that you moved far down. But we had the rosary of quilts for prayer that I showed her 2 of them that we have. What did I show you today?
Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes, we have an empty quilt that is awaiting your prayers. What we did in the early 1900s, 1990-something, we started Prayers for Life. When I went to the March for Life in Washington, I was so shocked. I had to watch a movie that showed a little baby being aborted. I went in the bathroom and cried my eyes out because I have never done anything for life. I don't know if you're in that category, but there's still time for us to do it. So we started Prayers for Life, and we started with the rosary quilts. Describe that quilt that you saw. Can you remember?
Yes, it's beautiful. The center of the quilt, it looks like it goes on. Is it a single bed, a double bed, or
the one that you
the
saw,
size?
the Our Lady of Guadalupe, that could go on a king-size bed.
Oh, okay. Because it was kind of, the ends were kind of folded underneath. But anyway, hand-painted, about 3 feet tall, and beautiful face. And one quilt has names on it and little roses, pink and red, and they're all significant and mean something. And people prayed a certain number of roses to have a pink rose next to their name or a red rose next to their name. The other quilt has no names at all. So that's one that a new project Marianne is thinking of starting.
If anybody quilts, we had 20 quilts of different states, and they're magnificent. We'd like to send them, your thought was, around to different places to be shown. What we need is the facilities to hang them. If anybody has any quilt hangers that they're not using, that we could use on these tours of the quilts. One of the first places we came was Fitchburg. It was in Madonna Holy Rosary Church. I'll never forget it. And we put the quilts there, and they were so happy to see them. So to get your name on the quilt, it's very simple. Do you know how to pray a rosary? Does everybody listening know how to pray a rosary? If you don't, you can learn. You can say 50 rosaries for Our Lady's pro-life intentions. Okay? That sounds like a lot. But the catch is, if you already pray 50 rosaries, it can't be the same ones. So in other words, if I say 1 rosary a day, am I explaining it okay? You know you have to do a second one, and it's all for the Blessed Mother. You're giving her a red rose, and that's what you're going to get your name on the quilt. Francine LaRiviere. Father, we'd like to have some priest names. We have Mother Angelica on the international quilt that Mary Jo Ridge made, and that is magnificent. She had that quilt. That should be coming on the tour. On her bed when we brought it down to EWTN, as we are an affiliate of EWTN, and she had it on her bed. She didn't want to, so it's a relic, wouldn't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and so this is a way of giving your time and your treasure, whereas you feel like you can't get out there physically. Everybody can pray. You can shut off the TV and set some time aside and pray a rosary, because those rosaries are treasure to the Blessed Mother.
And especially the month of May is coming up, so I would think this would be a great gift to give Our Lady, to give her 50 extra rosaries, if you already say one or two. One woman told me they prayed 30 rosaries a day. I met Maria from Garabandal, and she came and stayed with me, and we went around and gave scapulas out. Remember that? 4,000 scapulas. And I said, Maria, how many rosaries do you pray during the day? She said, 20. I said, do you breathe at all? I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine her praying 20 rosaries a day. But she stayed in my house. She didn't like the mattress that I had, so she just slept on my sofa. So that's going to be a relic. I think, Maria, you're now about 96 now. So we love you. We love all of you. That's the point. We love each other. And so Francine always has a big smile on her face, especially when she's outside a place praying to save a soul, to save a little baby. Let's say a Hail Mary, Francine. Can you lead us?
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. Pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And she's going to have a beautiful red rose for you when you pass away, because you're pro-life. You're not ashamed of admitting it. And you're saving God's beautiful children. Okay, well, we're going to have more good advice. I hope you're glad that you tuned in and you feel the Holy Spirit telling you that you need to do something. The greatest sin, I think, right now is omission. What we don't do. What we could do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to give up on ice cream sundae, which is a very hard thing to do. I'd rather pray 4 rosaries than give up my ice cream sundae. I don't know about you. So thank you for tuning in. If you have any ideas, go on our website, www.qphradio.org, and be pro-life and for Our Lady and Jesus. We got beautiful months coming up. May, we're going to have 40 hours at St. Joseph's Church in Medford on the 30th, 31st, June 1st, and 2nd, Corpus Christi. You might want to get into that program too. So thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, Francine.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right, we're at the Catholic Men's Conference, and I'm speaking with Rosalie Berquist from Massachusetts Citizens for Life. Tell me about the good works that Massachusetts Citizens for Life do.
Well, we have a number of things coming up. We are primarily interested in education, but also influencing legislation and letting people know what's out there as far as the laws that may be coming up that would impact life issues. All of the things that I mentioned, you can go on the website to find out more information about them. We have a Mother's Day dinner coming up. An internationally known speaker, Stephen Mosher from the Population Research Institute, is going to be the speaker. Excellent.
You won't have to deal with a line at a restaurant there for Mother's Day.
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be at the Springfield Hotel. Website, find out information there. We have also formed an alliance with a pregnancy care partnership because, of course, they're being attacked by the Board of Health in the state, threatened because, of course, they don't do abortions.
So that's because you've got a lot of politicians who get money from the pro-abortion industry, so they're afraid the life saved costs them $1.
Well, true. So we were able to put together those people, And we have some wonderful testimony from the young women who have been assisted in keeping their child. So many of these sites have volunteers, so they don't get government money to do that. The other thing that we can offer is if somebody would like a speaker for their parish or in their community, we can provide somebody who would come out and talk about the issues that they might be interested in.
I might have to keep that in mind.
Of course, you can go to the website, masscitizensforlife.org. There's some wonderful information there. We try to do what we can to educate people.
And that really must be the tough thing, because in a state like this, there's so much information that does not get out because the other side does not want that information out. So you can't change a state until people understand what's at stake.
We're working at a grassroots level, basically, and we're at least getting out there and doing things. One of the other things that we have recently done is information about abortion pill reversal. We produced a document that is completely scientific, and we're trying to get that out to medical professionals because doctors are getting the message that this doesn't work. Well, it does work. And when you have the scientific evidence to back it up, this is really important.
And you're not just saving the life of the child, which is, of course, very important, but you're saving the psyche and the soul of all the people involved.
Definitely. So many women have been pleased with the help that they have received through these centers from the information that we try to get out there.
Okay, and Rosalie, one more time, can you give me that website?
It's masscitizensforlife.org. MASS Citizens, CITIZEN, for life, LIFE.org.
All right, Rosalie Berquist, thank you so much for your time, and I hope this is a successful men's conference for you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
On the WQPH community calendar.
Your support is needed to relaunch Pregnancy Family Services, the first and only center since 1973 in 40 specific Massachusetts South Shore communities. Everything is needed, including funds. Call Christine at 781-924-9521. That's 781-924-9521. You can also visit their website, pregnancyfamilyservices.org. That's pregnancyfamilyservices.org. Please consider supporting their mission by mailing your check payable to Pregnancy Family Services, LLC, P.O. Box 232, Norwood, Massachusetts, 02062. That's pregnancyfamilyservices.org.
On the WQPH community calendar.
The best way to combat the evils of abortion is through prayer. The Mass is the most perfect form of prayer. Help Our Lady with her heavenly mission for the life of the unborn, life of the family, and life of our church. And at the same time, help a soul or souls in purgatory with the greatest possible relief, a Holy Mass. For more information, contact Prayers for Life National Apostolate, Post Office Box 589, Medford, Mass. 02155, or call 781-391-1396. That's 781-391-1396.
Thank you for listening to another edition of WQPH's Local Matters. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast and hope you have a blessed week.